Good morning, all of you. Today we shall start the economics lesson 1, development. What do you mean by development? The development word has two aspects. The very first thing is that the idea of development for me is different from others. As a teacher, I may have different development goals, and as a student, you may have different development goals. Your development may be for scoring good grades in examination and to become a well professional like doctors, teachers, engineers, or even maybe a politician. A businessman may have different development goals than an agriculturist. An industrialist may have a development goal different than a farmer. So the very first aspect of development is that different people may have different ideas of development. Second point is that what may be development for me may not be development for you. That means development for one may not be the development for other. Suppose an industrialist wants to construct a dam across the river. So that is the development goal for him. But at the same time, a farmer may not will to construct a dam in the river. Why? With the water he has to irrigate the field. So, what is the idea of development for industrialist? Is just opposite to the idea of a farmer. So, two aspects I already told. One, different people are having different ideas of development, and what is development for one may not be development for the other. So, this is the idea of development. Now, what about the countries? If this is the condition of the individual people, the different countries also may have the different ideas of development. What is the idea of development for India may not be the developmental idea of Pakistan or Sri Lanka or many of the European continents. It is different from one country to other. So remember, first one is that different people may have different ideas of development. Second one, what may be the different for development for one may not be the development for the other. Okay. So now World Bank adopts some criteria to consider a country developed or not. So the very first criteria adopted by the World Bank is the average income. Now what do you mean by average income? Average income means that is the total income of the country divided by the population of the country. That is average income. But here also there are so many problems. What is the population of India may not be the population of Pakistan. May not be Bhutan, Nepal, Myanmar, different countries. So there are some negative impacts of this criteria also. So remember, per capita income or average income is the main criteria used by the World Bank to classify the countries as developed or underdeveloped countries. The per capita income or average income is calculated by dividing the total income of a country by its population. That is the criteria adopted by the World Bank. Question can be asked, what is the criteria adopted by the World Bank to classify the countries into developed or underdeveloped nations? So this is the criteria, per capita income. Or I already told you how to calculate the average income. Average income is calculated by dividing the total income of the country by the population of the country. Then we will get the average income. Now, what are the limitations of this classification? First one is national income is calculated in the domestic currency of each country. Mainly the average currency, World Bank classifies the average income in dollars. That is also US dollar, USD. But every country, suppose it is India. India calculates its average income in Indian rupee. So there is variations. What is the value of Indian currency with the dollar is different. So here also first negative impact of this classification. First one is every individual country classify the per capita income in their own domestic currency. Second one, per capita income is affected by the size of the population of the country. I told it is divided by the population of the country. So what will be the average income of India when we compare with other small countries? Most of the European countries are not even equal to the Indian states. Then how can we compare one country with another country or most populated countries? So that is another defect of this method. What is that? Per capita income is affected by the size of population of a country. Next one, per capita income does not tell us anything about the distribution of income in the country. How the income is distributed in the country, it doesn't tell. There may be poor people, there may be rich people, middle class people are there. So that is also another defect. Next one, per capita income does not tell us anything about the availability of various services and facilities that influence the equality of the life. No, nothing else. Only about the income and their resources they say. Nothing else. So these are the defects of this method also. So I said one question answer now. What is the question answer? The criteria adopted by the World Bank to classify the countries into developed or underdeveloped countries. So answer is per capita income is the criteria used by the World Bank. Then I said what are the defects of this method? First method, national income is estimated in the domestic currency. So one currency may not be equal to other currency. Second point is affected by the size of the population of the country. The population of one country is not equal to other countries. The various populations are there. So that is also a defect. Third one, per capita income does not tell us anything about the distribution of income in the country, how it is distributed, what about the poor people, nothing. The last point is that it does not tell us anything about the availability of various services and the facilities that influence the life of common people. So these are the problems of this method. So that part also is over. Now developmental goals are there. Different people may have different developmental goals. As I said first, one may go for better income, or maybe good standard of living, then mental satisfaction, equal treatment for the society, freedom, security, opportunities, and respect from others. These are the other methods that also we need other than the income for the development. Not only that income is the criteria for the considering a development. Suppose you are you have crores of rupees, but you are living in an unhygienic area. Then you will be considered as poor. You are crores of rupees you are having and you are illiterate. You are poor. So together with the income, so many other dimensions are also needed in the society. Just like respect from the society, security from the society, mental satisfaction, standard of living. All these things are criterion to consider as developed. The same way, countries are also adopted different methods to classify them whether they are developed or not. So what are these criterions adopted by the different countries? Just like IMR. IMR means infant mortality rate. What is infant mortality rate? the number of children that die before the age of 1 year as the proportion of 1,000 live children born in the particular year. So that is called IMR, infant mortality rate. Number of children die before celebrating their first birthday compared to 1,000 children born in that particular country is called IMR, infant mortality rate. You have to by heart these words, IMR. Next one is that life expectancy. What is the life expectancy? Life expectancy means average number of years a normal person expected to live on this earth is called life expectancy. Another one is net attendance ratio. Net attendance ratio is the total number of children of age group 14 and 15 years attending the school. That is called net attendance ratio. So these types of criterions are also should be considered to be developed or not developed in order to classify. So what are the things I said? First one, IMR, infant mortality rate. Second one, life expectancy. Then net attendance ratio. Then HDI, Human Development Index. It is a tool developed by the United Nations to measure the country's overall achievement in its social and economic dimensions. That is called HDI, Human Development Index. So these are also a very important part of the considering a country whether it is developed or not. Illiteracy rate also, health status also is also criterion adopted by the different countries to be considered as developed or underdeveloped. Another dimension is there. What do you mean by sustainable development? Sustainable development refers to the development without hampering the nature or needs of the future generations. That is mean by sustainable development. Once again, I will tell you, sustainable development refers to the development without damaging the environment or without compromising the needs of the future generations. It is a concept of durable development carried out by limiting the needs of the present and keeping in mind the needs of the future generations. So how can we use the resources judiciously? Stress on developing techniques for the economical extraction of resources. Stress. Proper judicious use of resources. We should not waste the resources. Second one, use of alternative source of resources. Alternative source of resources. We have already said conventional source of energy and non-conventional source of energy. So these are substitutes to one another. So second point is that alternative use of the resources. Second one, effective steps to recycle used resources. Recycle the resource also is a component of sustainable development. Using the least amount of non-renewable resource. Non-renewable resource we have to use less. Non-renewable means the resources which cannot be replenished again and again, or is replenished within thousands of years, beyond the lifespan of a human being. So these resources should be reduced less. Non-renewable resources, just like coal, petroleum, etc. And instead of that, we have to use renewable resource of energy, just like solar energy, wind energy, thermal energy. This type of resources we have to use. Another one, limiting waste material and energy at the production level. So these are the components of the sustainable development. What are they? First one is developing techniques for the economical extraction of resources. Avoid the wastage. Second one, use of alternative source of energy. Third one, effective steps to recycle the resources and using the least amount of non-renewable resources. These are the components of the sustainable development. So dear students, these are the important points from what we have to study for PA1 examination. already I have uploaded the syllabus of PA1 and the syllabus plus the notes or homework also I have given. Holiday homeworks also I have uploaded. Please go through that and complete the fair copy as early as possible and be ready for the PA1. Go through objective type questions, read the lessons again and again. Then only you can attempt the objective type questions. There are more number of objective type questions CBSE provides. So please go through the lessons of history 1, geography 1, civics 1 and economics 1. And this will help you a lot in this time of quarantine. It will be helping for you also. I hope my video also will be a helpful source for you to study and score high grades in the PA1 examination. Thank you very much.